Hello and welcome to the OnlyBets Sports Podcast, where we break down the best bets every single day. Exciting news today. We actually hit 2,000 downloads. We're within the first 35 days of recording, so I think that's an incredible feat. I'm very excited to see where this moves on in the future. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce my co-host for the day, Drew. How you doing, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Sometimes I notice in spaces when I join and it brings me up, then I can't hear you, and then I have to rejoin. So, um, yeah, yesterday overall was a pretty good day. Of course, 3-2 in college basketball. Profit. Remind people, like end of the day, guys, this is a long term kind of investment thing. You're not going to win every day. You're not going to go 4-1 or 2-0 every day and stuff like that. As long as you're going long term in this day. Sometimes you'll have like 0-3 days. Sometimes you'll have 4-0 days. But yesterday, something that I learned from the college basketball world is that revenge is, especially when you lose to a team at their home and they come to your home, revenge is a dish served, as I would say, because we saw that with the St. John's game. St. John's was unbelievable. They missed like their last 20 something shots. We saw that with the St. Mary's too. Like Santa Clara beat St. Mary's last time they played. St. Mary's killed them, and another big one was San Diego State killed Utah State. They beat them pretty handily, and usually when you see a line, that's like minus 110 for like San Diego State, even though Utah State has been a better team as of late, and they beat them last time, and San Diego State lost two in a row. That line usually tells you everything what Vegas thinks. So overall, Villanova, we lost on the hook. We could have been, 4-1 in that aspect.
Oh, that was
St. John's
so
just couldn't make
brutal.
anything.
They were leading 14 points with like 36 seconds or something left to go. How
Yep.
did you? Oh, that was brutal. We were
I'm,
recording our
hey, but
Europa game.
Florida, man, Florida's offense is so crazy. Like they were down two with like I think it was like 7 minutes, and they won by like 13. Like Florida's scary,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, they just turned it on in a heartbeat, and they just dominated the rim.
It was funny. My one of my friends told me that Florida's either going to lose or they're going to win by double digits. And I was like, that's a good point.
It's so funny. All right, let's just walk right into today. What do you got for us, man?
Yeah, I guess we can talk about NBA. Again, I didn't like any particular looks. What I saw for like over under wise. Um, but there's some good NBA games personally. In my opinion, I like some of these games. Like the Heat at Sixers is a very interesting game. And then another game is the Rockets at Magic. I think it's such a game. The Magic being plus money is pretty interesting. I think the Magic could win that game. And then personally, another game that I found pretty interesting is the Lakers at Suns. I think Lakers are minus 4.5. I didn't check if the Suns are still missing Booker and Dylan Brooks, but if they still are, I would say the Lakers should be a pretty favorable in that aspect for only laying that many points.
Yeah, I 100% agree there. Even if Booker or does return, I do like the Lakers to at least keep it close. They are 36 and 13 straight up, and 34 and 15 against the spread, playing on 1 day rest since January 2024 there. So I am definitely going to be taking the Lakers plus 4.5 as a parlay piece. I think that they keep it close, and getting a possession and a half, it seems valuable to me. And then the game that I actually parlayed it with was the Spurs minus 7.5 against the Nets. I don't. The Spurs got embarrassed last night, and I think they come out with a vengeance against a very weak Nets team that I have very huge doubts whether they're going to be able to guard anybody. And if they're not going to be able to guard Wemby, this game's going to be over and over quickly.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with that. What I was wondering is, did you have any other takes in the NBA that you like? Because I was looking at some other, like, there's some, of course, bottom feeder games, like we saw, like Wizards at Hawks and stuff. I didn't know if you had any other games you had interest in.
Wizard and Hawks does not interest me at all. I'm not interested in seeing how teams experiment with their G League players. It's just not where I'm going to try to put my money into. I am yeah, the only plays that I really had, I do have a lean. I like the Rockets Magic under. I thought that that could be a good game to maybe just slowly roll through that game. Pelicans Jazz, I thought was maybe a little bit interesting on the Pelicans side. I think there was a lot of fake money basically coming on the Jazz at home. And then the Timberwolves and Clippers, that was also a game that I looked at. Definitely lean Timberwolves there. I think that their defense is probably going to defeat the Clippers, unless the Clippers just go off 3-point shooting again. So, but the only play that I have officially here in the NBA is a two-leg parlay: the Spurs minus 7.5 and the Lakers plus 4.5, and I got that at minus 120 over on FanDuel.
Oh yeah, for sure. Sounds good.
Yeah,
Yeah, perfect.
yeah,
I'd be down to talk about hockey and then college basketball because
yeah. Let's go for it.
hockey was
Uh,
crazy yesterday.
yeah, give us the recap here because I mean I know my play didn't hit. There were what 9 goals scored in that game. The Kings couldn't keep a clean sheet against a team that is missing 5 core players. So that
Well,
was shocking to me.
did you see what happened in that game though in the third period? It
What
was
like the
like
4 or 5 goals in the last 3 minutes?
so what was crazy with because it was funny because I went to my sports book to cash some of my wagers. I do cash wagers and then I also do my sports book wagers. And then I saw right the game was like 1-1 with like I think it was like 15 minutes left and I was like okay and then I looked at the final score. I was like there was 7 goals scored in the third period. I
Yeah,
was just like I think in my head like what if someone took the under in that game? You know?
that was
Like
wild.
going to the third period 1-1, like what if someone was like going to sleep on the East Coast and like I'm fine, and it was like 6-4. It's like, and then like you said, yeah, I think the last 7 minutes there was like 5 goals scored. Like that's just no, there
I
was
think it
six
was
goal
even
scores.
less than that. I think
It
it was
was
like in the last 4 minutes. Like
yeah,
it was
so-
insane. I thought it was good multiple times during that game, and then they just kept letting up goals. They just couldn't keep it clean. That was
uh,
wild.
but no pun intended. But I'm just kidding. I didn't make a hawk at that joke. But yeah, speaking of also last night is I'm glad I know it hit, but I'm glad I didn't bet it because it was very sweaty. The Avalanche it did go under um barely. It was like 4-2. I was watching some of that game, but they just forgot how to score for a while. So I'm glad I didn't bet it because I would have sweated. I know it hit, but that was a really good game. Avalanche are right back to it, you know, doing well. And then the other game that I was looking at, right, it was the over for the Oilers game. It was like minus 156.5 of that the Ducks and Oilers just kept scoring at will. But that was too much juice for me to take. I know it hit, but that game was very fun. It was like I think it was the final game too.
Yeah, I was surprised that the Oilers were able to put so much offensive capabilities in there without Connor. So, yeah, that was interesting. And I mean, really, that is a team that I'm consistently looking for the overs, and I had a lot of success before the break. Looking forward to doing it again. They can't play defense, but they can definitely get into shootouts.
Yeah. And something I noticed with going on is like the rust of the goalies. I've noticed that yesterday. Because like there was some games that are like 3-1 and stuff, but you notice like after the break, goalie's gonna have rust. Because we saw that especially later on with in the Kings game where like both goalies just couldn't stop anything. So
Yep, that's definitely a fair point and something to look out for tonight. I know that also in the I had the Maple Leafs plus 1.5. I got an early line from someone on Sportsline, and they just yeah the goalies are struggling mightily. Going to be interesting to see how it evens out and how many days it takes to kind of plateau. But my first bet, or I guess my only bet in the NHL here, is the Tampa Bay Lightning. I got destroyed by them yesterday. I was very impressed by their offensive play. I thought that they were smooth. They had an incredible goals above expected shots. Their defense is playing really well. I'm going to sprinkle a half a unit against the Carolina Hurricanes here. And I got that number at plus 132. I thought that was worth a half a unit. Just don't think that the Carolina Hurricanes are really going to be able to close this out at home. They're dealing with some injuries. The Lightning look good. Their game already into it. Give me the Lightning to continue rolling.
And aren't the
And
Lightning? They're like 21-1 since like December, right?
yeah, I think they're on a 6-game winning streak. I'd have to find the exact. Yeah, they're on a 6-game winning streak after just demolishing the Maple Leafs last night. So I would say a 1-game winning streak since coming back from the break. But yeah, they've been on fire. Pyotr Kochekov is likely out, so the Hurricanes are just going to be in a negative position all game long, and plus 132 is just too good of a price here. I get that they're coming off a back-to-back game, but they're coming back off one game after an extended rest from the break, and they did not look rusty last night. So
Oh,
I understand the tired legs argument, but this is an overreaction from the books.
yeah. So I looked it up. The last 22 games, the Lightning are 21-1, so they've lost a game straight up and lost in overtime. And guess who it started with their hot streak, beating the
Was it?
Hurricanes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I
that's
hope it
where they
doesn't end.
started. The one thing I will say about this, right? Uh, about this game is I do like the Lightning here a lot in this aspect. Uh, but it's just the Hurricanes are a very weird team at the end of the day. But it's just really weird that the Lightning are this big of underdogs at the Hurricanes. But you know what? This is the type of line you probably shouldn't overthink, especially like I'm with you. I like riding the hot hand, kind of like Miami, Ohio for college basketball. So. I like that. Like ride the hot hand, man. If they keep winning, they keep winning. And back to
Yeah,
back in hockey, like obviously they must have done back to backs multiple times if they're 21-1 in the last 22. So
yeah. And again, this is just a half a unit at plus
yeah, I
132.
like that.
I wouldn't really, if this number falls below 120, I'm not as interested in playing it. This was a value play for sure.
Yep, for sure. There was one game that I was actually I was like looking at where is it? There it is. So it's a very interesting game, in my personal opinion. It's the Red Wings at Senators. Let me double check what the line is right now for that game. Hold on. For the over under, I want to see if it still
It's
was.
over 5.5. You can still get at minus
Yeah.
130.
So what I was thinking for that game is because like I've seen these teams play, right? So both of these teams like previous matchups, yeah, there's my data I pulled, right? Red Wings won both of these. Scores were like 4-3 and 5-3. But I usually when I see that kind of stuff, that's due for a low scoring affair, because teams seeing each other for the third time, more familiarity, and there's such a lengthy break. I think teams may need to get back to rhythm. I kind of like the under 5.5 personally. I know the goalies could, like give stuff up at the end of the day, but usually when I see high scoring games, the first two, the third time is usually a low scoring game kind of thing.
Yeah, I have this game marked as a high variance game that I'm not interested in necessarily
Yeah.
experimenting
I'm
with.
not going to make an official bet, but that's something I was like interested in, like thinking. But after seeing yesterday, I thought in my head, I was like, yeah, I need to wait to see these goalies to settle in.
Yeah, something interesting here to note, the public is 84% on the over, and the money is 93.5% on the over. So there is a significant edge on the sharp money coming in on the over, and it looks like everybody's kind of in agreement that it is going to go over. So not a bad look, and that's probably a sprinkle play for me if I was going to play anything. All right, let's move on. Anything else in NHL before we move on to college basketball?
No, nothing for me.
Oh, okay. Just let me know if I am ever going out because I am in my office and sometimes the internet goes in and out because I can't connect to the real Wi-Fi. Connect to the guest. All right, college basketball tonight. We have a few really good games. Reeling from last night, that was just a whirlwind of activity. Even though there was only so many games, it wasn't so crazy. But the games that we're playing were phenomenal. I'm gonna have my eye out on FAU Temple. That's FAU was literally 15 minutes from my house when I was in high school, and Temple is my wife's college. So that's a game that I'm going to be on. I don't
Same.
have any picks in it really, but I do lean with the points with Temple. Bring us in. Tell us what your best bets are. Give us an overview.
To make you feel good, that Temple game is actually one of the ones I am interested in. So
Oh, no way.
yep,
That's
and
fun. I love to play
actually,
something in here.
so personally, I know it's plus 4.5 or minus 105. You probably can get it. I think other places have it at like plus 5.5, I believe. But you can probably get plus 1.5 for good value. Honestly, there's not a big difference between 4.5, 5.5. Still two possessions. It's two threes versus a three and a two. But something I will say though is FAU, man, like they're not a bad team. They've just been hit by the injury bug. Um, Let me double check right here because I didn't see the injury report. I'm gonna see if Vanderpool is playing for FAU today, real quick, because he's questionable for the game against Temple. That means he's probably not gonna play. He has an ankle injury. Yeah, FAU has just been hit by injuries. They've had bad luck in games. Personally, they should have beat North Texas. I think at North Texas. Personally, they kind of got screwed by the refs. I remember we talked about that game. I should have took the spread with FAU instead of the money
Yeah,
line.
we were both on the money line at plus
Yeah.
money. We were like, "Oh, come on, you lost by one."
Yeah, you lost by yeah. That's what it's sad. I know. Like that's the crazy thing, when people will say, "Hey, don't just a point and a half." I was like, "Hey, point and a half makes a difference because we've won bets because we take the plus 1.5 and multiple." But something I do like about this Temple team a lot is they travel well. They know how to play defense. They're not like as bad as people like put them out to be. They haven't done as like entirely well lately, but like because Temple's dropped their last like four outings overall, but FAU is 1-7 straight up in their last eight. So someone has to win here at the end of the day. But yeah, these two teams last met in Philadelphia back in January when Florida Atlantic secured a 79-70 win, but that was when FAU was like fully healthy. And that's a big difference in this aspect because Vanderpool has a lot of their points. They have another guard that gives a lot of their points. And it's just very hard to believe that Temple doesn't keep it close, especially with how good their defense is. And I think they'll put up a fight against FAU.
Yeah, and I tend to agree and lean in that direction as well, even though it's my team versus my wife's team. Not that FAU really is my team, but if you're going to go for anybody, you might as well pick the team that you went to watching growing up, or at least in high school. So yeah, all right, cool. What else you got for us, man?
And also something I'll mention about FAU is usually when they beat teams, they don't usually like blow them out recently. In that aspect. And also, something though that I'll notice about this game, right, is like Temple usually will play like teams very close. Like they could very well lose this game, but usually when they lose, it can be by a few points. But the other one I got is from the same conference, personally, and this goes back to kind of my like revenge game spot because honestly, for FAU, like if Temple beat FAU, I would say, oh, like this is a revenge spot at home, like what I was talking about before. But I think Temple's gonna be the more desperate team because they don't want to get swept. I think FAU, um, you know, like I think FAU is just like we got bit by the injury bug, probably not gonna make the tournament. But for this Memphis game, they're facing Wichita State. So Wichita State beat Memphis at Wichita State by 15 last time around. And then you see the line, Memphis's favor. This is kind of why I talk about the San Diego State one, revenge. If you see a line is minus 120, like towards Memphis, I think it is right now. That's Vegas telling you everything you need to tell you, right? Like this is just read the line saying that, hey, Memphis is probably going to be out the desperate team, be out for blood. They want revenge. They need this win. I like them metrically too better than Wichita State. Wichita State. And I think Memphis is a really good team at home. They're 10-4 at home, and Wichita State has a worse record on the road. Like they're below 500 on the road. And I just trust Memphis to get the job done in this. I would just take the money line or the minus one.
Yeah, you can see this at -115 now on Caesars.
Oh yeah, so 'cause I think Wichita State gained steam, but I would take it at -115 or -120. I can see Memphis being possibly plus money before, but I don't mind taking that now. You know.
All right, good looks, man. I don't really have any analysis on this one. Skip through my research phase.
It's just one of those where I like to do, and it works out well. It's just because I did do San Diego State at like 9. I'm also a fan of San Diego State because my mom went there. So it's kind of like the bias aspect, but it really wasn't because like they lost Utah State. San Diego State lost like 2 in a row. I knew they would get it done, but like sometimes I just like to look at the line. You know, if the line's making Memphis the favorite, that tells you everything you need to know. In my personal opinion, I don't think it's a trap because like a lot of people when they see that line, they're like, "Oh, this is great value for Wichita State," and then people said that about the Florida Atlantic too because Florida Atlantic blew out Memphis at Florida Atlantic, right? And then when Florida Atlantic went to Memphis, right, they just got demolished. So it's just one of those revenge spots.
Yeah, yeah, I totally hear you. And we've been playing this long enough to understand that those spots are valuable.
I,
All
I
right.
do
Yeah.
I do have one more. It's the game of the probably the game of the night, the only ranked game. I didn't know if you wanted to talk about it first.
No, go for it, bro.
We have Michigan State at Purdue. I think that 6.5 to 7.5 is about right. I know that seems like a lot of points to lay for Michigan State team, but Michigan State on the road has not done well covering. I remember they lost like by almost 20 to Wisconsin on the road, and but Purdue is a very efficient team, but both these teams play slow. They both have good efficiency defenses. Purdue doesn't really have a good effective field goal percentage against. But something I lean towards is I feel like, and it opened at 140.5. Now it's 142.5. I lean towards the under in this game. I think this will be a first to 70 wins type of game. I know we saw Michigan State on the road allow 90 points to Wisconsin. That's because Wisconsin just shoots the threes and play fast. And I can't believe also Wisconsin lost yesterday to Oregon. That was crazy. But yeah, I lean towards the under in this. I don't see both teams reaching 70 here. What do you think?
My lean was actually going to be on maybe a team total over on one of these sides, but I really didn't feel comfortable really watching it, taking any position in this.
Yeah.
I was going to take Michigan State over 66.5, but the line moved to minus
Yeah.
136 now. Doesn't really interest me a lot. I do agree that's probably going to be more of a tighter game, um, but I don't really trust Michigan State down the stretch. So
Yeah.
I would take their team total if anything, but I'm off. I'm not interested in playing anything officially.
Yeah, because something I was like looking at when I was like looking at Purdue home games, right? The games are usually um like what was it the game when they play like teams that are slower, of course when you play like Indiana it's going to be faster paced, they don't play great defense, but when they like played Oregon it was like a 68 to 64 game. Illinois, of course Illinois is just generally fast paced. When they played Iowa it was a decently high scoring, but I don't know, it's just one of those where I feel like it's going to be kind of like a sleepy game because Michigan State games are usually like low scoring, so I kind of like the under 142.5 there personally. Because my model said that I believe that the over under should be like 137. So yeah,
Yeah, and by the way, the sharp money is with you.
yeah,
62.5% of the public is on the over, while only 58% of the money is on the over. So that means that there is a slight edge on the under here, and usually even more. You also have to see what the bet is because public always likes taking the over. So if you have a significant money coming in on the under, you can exponentiate that to say like it's probably even more than a 4% edge. You're probably getting closer to a 10 to 15% edge, just looking at the sharp money versus the public money, which again is one of my
yeah,
favorite methods to figuring out what a best bet is because there's a lot smarter people out there and I just want to know where the numbers are lying, and if I see significant movement from the public to sharp, I'm going to check it out and see why.
Yep.
And then if I like the why, that's usually when I dive in for these bets. And that's kind of how I get my bets all over the board. I don't necessarily care what sport I'm looking at. I care about where there's an edge in the market.
Yeah, and another thing though, unders always scare me in college basketball, but usually, well, because oh yeah, I didn't shout out that like it's just for that Xavier game. The over somehow hit. I think it was like 90 points scored in the second half, and then I was gonna mention this. I think we need to talk about this because I I need to look it up too. That was like a recent record. Like I don't know if that's ever happened in the last 10 years. I need to look it up. But there was 118 points scored in the second half of the Arkansas game. Like, guys, that's absolutely insane. Like, because I honestly, Stern, thought the over might have been dead, but then I realized both these teams can score, and 118 points in the second half for the over to hit was amazing. And we saw the Xavier Arkansas game too, no, Xavier Providence game. And actually, Xavier almost came back and won. It was funny. I was too focused on the total of that game, and I didn't realize that Xavier came like literally came back from like 23 plus down and bring it within single digits at one point. So.
Yeah, that was wild. I turned off that game because I was like, that's over. And I'm honestly shocked that it wasn't a record. The highest scoring points against an SEC opponent. That is the record that was broken last night. But yeah, that was wild. That was absolutely wild. 78 points in yeah, 118 points is just wild. But 78 points in the first half set 1989 looks to be the record as most scoring points in a half.
Yeah, I see that during the second round matchup between Loyola Marymount and Michigan. That's crazy. Yeah, Loyola Marymount scored 84 points in the second half. Michigan scored 57. Marymount defeated Michigan 149 to 115. What the heck?
Yeah,
It's
this is going to be a rabbit hole that we can dive into. But I
yeah.
wanted to get to one more game here. This is going to be where my best bet lays. If you have any breakdowns, I'm going to pass it off to you first. Delaware versus Jackson State, Jacksonville State. Anyway, I love this. The model has this by a significant margin on the over and a significant margin on the spread here. I just couldn't lay off the number of getting 63 and a half team total points on Delaware here. I do know, as we talked about it, they did lose by 3 points at home, which is usually not a great look, but it was a closely contested match, and they did score 64 points in that one. I do expect them to score at least 64 points here. And if you're looking back at the last 5 games for each of these teams, Jacksonville State has only their opponent's number has gone over 64 for their last 5 games, and Delaware has sailed this number in each of their last 5 games. So I love the value here. Not quite sure why we're getting this incredible number. If the number 63 and a half team total is still available, I highly recommend that. That was my best bet of the whole day. I got that at minus 115 over on DK.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend the best play in this is definitely the team total. It's just that spread, the 6.5 kind of does scare me in a way with because like 6.5 always scares me for these mid-major games because like it's very hard for these mid majors like to come back if they go down early. I actually put money at the last minute on Charleston halftime, full time, and I think they're up at half by a decent amount. And it's just one of those things when I notice when like these lower mid majors like go down, they struggle. But if Delaware goes up early, then I think they should easily be able to cover because they don't have like the shooting. Consistent shooting prowess like these Power Five conferences do, to come back and defense. So I do like the team total over. I can't necessarily bet it, but I like that over 63 and a half. Like, because Delaware has had an offshoot night against Jacksonville State, and they still reached like 64 points. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm very confused when the average points for an opponent against Jackson State is clearly over 64 points, and Delaware is also clearly scoring more than 64 points. In their loss last night, a few nights ago, they scored 66, 87, 76, 68, 88. Like these numbers aren't like really even kind of close to 64. I love the over. I love it. Well, I don't
Oh
know what
yeah.
else to say to that one. I'm just going to drop the ball there.
Oh yeah, definitely. I do have some analysis. So there's a lot of good mid-major games. I'll say this real quick. One of the conferences I do like enjoy is I think it's the forgot. I think it's the Mideastern or something. I'd say yeah, you or Northeast. I think it's the Northeastern. UMBC. I really am a big fan of this UMBC team. I'm not gonna get official play, but there's some really good like money line lay opportunities. Like I think UMBC will beat Bryant. And then I like personally Vermont, to win against their matchup, and I like UNCW to win against their matchup. But yeah, there's some really good like lay opportunities for money lines for these lower mid majors if you guys see them for good value. Something you can always look at, of course, is the standings. But yeah, that's all I have to say as well. Yeah.
Yeah, well, if you ever come up with additional plays, you can always tweet at me. I'll repost it and put it onto our board because I think that is valuable and there's significant value. I didn't win my money line parlay yesterday. Colgate lost by 1 point. That was disappointing. Very,
Yeah,
very
that was
disappointing.
disappointing. Like there was some like surprising losses yesterday. Austin Peavy losing. I was very surprised about that.
I
Uh
was shocked.
Yeah, I couldn't believe they lost that game. And then I think, oh no, that was 2 days ago. Bradley lost in double overtime, but GCU got a must needed win. Seattle won. And then we actually have some really good later on tonight games. By the way, there's the Big West. I'll let you know if I decide to bet on them later because there's Hawaii versus UC Davis, and there's UC Irvine versus like CSUN. So those games are interesting. But there was one actually more game that I know was highlighted from one of my friends I know. North Dakota State and St. Thomas. They're like number 1 and 2 in their division, personally. And a lean for one of my friends was take Thomas with the points because they did lose to North Dakota State last time they played, and this is a good revenge spot for them. I probably am not going to do this game because I already have like 3 other bets, so I kind of want to limit it in that way. But that's a game to look out for, guys. St. Thomas is a very fun team to watch, and so is North Dakota State. So that'll be a really good mid-major battle. But that's it for me.
How about I have one question for you actually. I'm sorry if you mentioned it before, but Northeastern versus William and Mary. Do you have any thoughts on that one?
Oh,
I
I
do
love
have a
that
model play
conference.
that I played.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
So this William Mary team is a very interesting team. Like I always make a joke because UNCW I think is the top of it, and they're like they're I think the only losses UNCW in conference are to William and Mary. Like William and Mary is like their kryptonite. But William and Mary loves to run and gun. They're really good at home. Personally, 11 and a half. Vegas did a very smart number there with 11 and a half, I think, because William Mary can blow you out in a hurry. But I do think William Mary wins that game. Let me see real quick because William Mary can shoot the ball like no other. Their biggest issue is their defense. Their defense isn't great, but also at the same time, Northeastern 6-20 for a reason. Last time these two teams played, let me see. Oh yeah, William Mary won 94-67. So honestly, that 11 and a half looks like good value after that because Northeastern's offensive metrics don't look great, no matter how bad William Mary's defense is. So actually, 11 and a half is pretty good value, I would say, especially since they beat them by 20 plus. Even though I've seen recently though, even though a team beat them by 20 plus on the road, for some reason they play them closer at home. But I think William Mary though is in a desperate spot here. Because they want to try to move up in the standings, not to because they're not going to win the conference, but they want to be able to have a favorable one in the conference tournament. So I like William Mary here, I would say.
How do you like the under in this one? I know you said that maybe you're not so impressed with one Northeastern's offense, but um, I see a tremendous edge, almost 9.5 points, which is extreme. Usually you're looking at, on a good edge, I'm looking at a 5 point difference between the model and the lines. I see a 9.5 point edge on the under here.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on there? I already put a half unit on it, just full
So
disclosure.
So the last game was 161 points, but so if I ever see the last game clearly, right, hit the over what they currently get, that's a telling actually let me see. Oh no, it's 164 and a half. My bad. I thought I said 154 and a half. Oh, okay. So yeah, the last game didn't even hit the
And I got this at 165
Oh, okay. Yeah, no,
and a half.
for some reason I thought it said 154 on when I was looking on Fanatics. But actually that's very telling right there. So the last game was actually a pretty decently high scoring game. Usually if I see like the last game is like 130 points and then they make it 164 and a half, they generally think it's going to be a high scoring game. But since the last game was quite a bit of points and they're making it like you said, 165 and a half. They're giving you, I think, like 5 more points than what the last game was. I like the under there because personally, I think this game it goes under just based off the last game. Because if you look at it, William Mary scored 94 points. They scored 94 points. I think that's usually the peak. I've seen William Mary score 100 points, but I don't think Northeastern, in my personal opinion, even I don't think they get to 70 this game at all. Because if you look at Northeastern's last games, they scored 68, 61, 67 against William Mary, 55, 63. So, yeah, it's just they're not a great
Like not
offense. Yeah.
even close.
Yeah, not even close.
Not even
I like
close.
164 and a half a lot under.
Like they're gonna need to score 70 plus points for this to
Oh, yeah, because
cash.
if you think about it, even a 90 to 70 game hits.
Yeah.
They're not getting 70.
Yeah, so I'm definitely on the full game under here. And just, we have these games, teams like Alabama, St.
Oh,
Louis,
God,
maybe
Alabama
not
yesterday.
recently, but they push. Does William and Mary push?
Yes, they're one of the fastest paced teams in the nation. Yeah.
Okay, even when they don't have to, like if they're up by 20 or 30 points, are they just gonna maybe slow down the pace a little bit, or they're just gonna go wild the entire time? And even if they go wild the entire time, like I'm cool. Like we just mentioned it. If Northeastern isn't scoring 70, I think this cashes. But do we have to be worried about the offensive output by William and Mary?
So something that's interesting, I'll tell you. I just looked that up. The last two team times these guys played, William Mary won the first half 45 to 34, and then William Mary scored 49 points in the second half. So it looks like they pushed the pace there. But even with them pushing the pace there, the 164 and a half still, I mean 165 and a half, didn't cover what the line is now. But I've seen William Mary though play against teams like UNCW. Those are only games I watched because I was always on UNCW when they faced William Mary, lost both times. But William Mary will slow down in the second half if they feel like the game's like close and stuff. But usually when they're up by a lot, they'll try to push the pace a lot, and they make teams push the pace with them. But I don't see Northeastern with their tempo being able to keep up with that. I would hope I would aim towards just hoping William Mary scores 40 points or less in the first half. I will say your ideal score in the first half should probably be like 35, 20 something, and then you should definitely 100% be good in my opinion because Northeastern is not like a UNCW or somebody or like yesterday not like not an efficient offense at all. So I personally like that.
Cool. All right. Let's move on. I wanted to discuss one thing that came up. Prince posted about it in our little chat over there, which by the way, I'm going to put together a Discord so that everybody who wants to join and have conversations with us can. But first, I want to just point out we had a Europa League and Conference League special episode last night. Those games are going off in about 30 minutes. 12:45 is the first slate, and then 3 p.m. is the second slate. I just wanted to give out one pick that Prince and I very much agree on, which usually leads to good things. In the Europa League, I like Genk versus Dynamo Zagreb over 2.5 goals at -130. And Prince is on Genk team total over 1.5 at +100. Both of those looks are good. And if you're looking for a soccer bet today, I think that's a really good one to kind of get behind. But I wanted to talk about the distrust in the NBA. Do you want to open it up? Do you know what I'm talking about yet?
Yeah, are you talking about like kind of like the tanking and stuff?
Yeah, they're sending a medical trainer to verify that someone's MRI is actually going to say that they have a broken bone.
That's crazy. Like, I personally, sorry to interrupt, of course, but I personally don't like that they're doing this because something I will say is people, because like honestly, seeing Kawhi now, that makes me think something was really wrong with him, and we just didn't believe him for some reason because he's playing back to backs and stuff. Because like you know your own body at the end of the day, right? Like I know there's been multiple instances in my life where the doctor said something, but I know I feel something, and they can't find anything. So I don't like that they do that. If that makes sense, that's a little too far.
Yeah, yeah, and I just found the tweet. It was Laurie Markkinen. They're going to be NBA is going to be sending independent doctors to verify that Markkinen's MRI on Thursday, and this has got to be the most shocking thing that I've seen. I mean, maybe except for a trade, a crazy trade like the Mavs Lakers trade last year. Yeah, this is just unbelievable. Like, where is it going to go? Are they going to create an investigative task force? Are
This
they
is
gonna put
crazy.
like a member on from the NBA commission or something? They're gonna put a person, a representative, like the IRS, into each team's facility to like monitor them and report suspicious activity. Like, where does this end? This is just wild. This is wild.
Oh yeah, it's
But yeah,
absolutely crazy. Like it's just overall crazy because like also like some people go through like mental issues, like they go through like vestibular issues, and stuff like that. For example, like Christoph Porzingis, right? He has something called like POTS that's similar to it's like most common in women and stuff where it's like you get like fatigue, perceptual dizziness. That's kind of like what I have right now. I've been going through like vestibular therapy and like the doctors, like I went to the ER multiple times. They couldn't find what was wrong with me and all that. And then it took a vestibular therapist to find stuff out. It's just like one of those things where it's like there's people that go through neurological things that you can't really measure either. And like yeah, I don't know. It's just overall crazy that like I understand you want to cut down this and cut down their injuries, like cut down to these injuries and all this stuff, but these people are human at the end of the day. Like, like sometimes they'll go through stuff like doctors aren't perfect. They can't see everything. So yeah.
yeah. Policing a system is a lot harder than changing the motivation behind it. If you want people to stop tanking, you're going to have to do something about this draft system. That's just it, right? You can't. This is a band aid. This is a very small band aid over a much larger problem, and that's at least my perspective. By the way, Michael, I accepted you on to speak if you want to mention anything. You were on last night. We talked about Celtic, which was a lot of fun. Um, Definitely one of my more favorite teams now. But if you have any thoughts on this, please just start talking. I can't see who's in the chat or who's requesting so much. I can only respond to requests. I don't know what's going on with X or Twitter's system today, or if it's just my computer. I don't know, but giving you the opportunity to come in if you want to. Let's try that one more time. Hey, Michael, can you hear me?
You guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Sorry, the third
Cool.
time's the charm. How you doing today?
I'm good, man. Just busy with work. So it's just with the Lori marketing thing. I just wanted to make a comment. It was like see something, say something as a joke. Yeah. So that's what they're gonna do. Oh, we found something, and now we're gonna have our own independent doctors.
Yeah, this is a strange new direction that they're going into. And like I said, I think this is just a tiny little Band-Aid over a much larger issue.
Yeah, that's all I got. Can't wait for the games to kick off like here in about half an hour.
Yeah, I am very excited. And thank you again for coming on and being such a big part of our show. Like I always say, you're always more than welcome to come on, talk shop, or just chill out a little bit if you want. And that also goes for any of our listeners here. We're a fairly open show. We're new, we're building, we're growing. And I don't want it to be a top-down type of place. I want this to be a collective community that we're all growing and learning from each other. I know I certainly have learned a lot over the last month or so since starting this. I know Prince's feels the same, and I know that we've gotten a lot of valuable information from Drew, and ultimately very much appreciate him just kind of sliding in and becoming a co-host every single day. That was huge, man, and I thank you. Thank you all.
Yeah, the Discord idea sounds great, by the way.
Okay. Yeah, I'll see what I can do. I do have a personal one that I tried starting maybe a year ago for top cappers that I was trying to get opinions for. So like bounce ideas off of, say like, hey, what do you think about this? And it never went anywhere because frankly, I'm extremely busy and it's hard to keep track of everything, but I'm going to give it another go and I'll add it to my Substack. Hopefully you're subscribed there already. If you're not, I'll post it on Twitter and that way everyone can access it. Just like a free-flowing place to kind of bounce ideas off each other or give best bets or whatever it is, I think that's valuable. Well, all right. If there's nothing else, Drew, why don't you recap your best bets? Be sure to send them my way too, so I can get them on the recap screen as soon as I can. But why don't you give us your best bets for the day, and then I'll close us off.
Yeah, I have Temple plus 4.5, and then Memphis money line, and then the Michigan State game under 142.5.
I love that you're on that Temple play. I really didn't want to play anything. I wanted to play that. That was definitely the move, but I didn't have enough confidence in it to play it myself. So now that I get to play it with you, makes it all the better. I am on Delaware team total in the NCAA, over 63.5 at minus 115. I have an NBA two-leg parlay. I'm taking the San Antonio Spurs at minus 7.5, parlayed with the LA Lakers plus 4.5. You're going to get that payout at minus 120. And then finally, a half unit in the NHL, the Tampa Bay Lightning money line at plus 132. And again, that's just a half a unit here. I do want to shout out Squishy. He is back. I highly recommend you guys following him. I know I always find it fun. I'm not going to give out all of his plays because he has a few. But one that I really liked here, again, plus money, he's playing this for a half unit, is the Devils, the New Jersey Devils money line at plus 136. So some exciting opportunities there. And I'm kind of excited to see where this goes. We're second day back in the NHL from break. We're back in the NBA, getting to the home stretch towards the playoffs. MLB is coming back. We've had a few games. I've been paying attention to the Yankee games. That's been a lot of fun. Golf is in full swing, pun intended. Lots of exciting things going forward. And again, we just hit 2,000 downloads. So thank you all. Please like our stuff on Spotify. Go like us on Apple Podcasts, anywhere you can find us. Go and like us, give us a review, and rate us because that really does help the show grow. From me, from Drew, thank you guys for listening, and I hope to see you guys soon. Have a wonderful day.